What's up? I'll wait until people show up. Hey, how you guys doing? So I'm going to be doing like a little, I'm just going to be recording a cover. You guys will be able to hear what cover we're coming out with. Not next, but I think it's going to be the one after. Hey, how you guys doing? I'm mostly just going to be playing guitar and recording and stuff. So I'll be trying to like answer as many questions and comments and everything as I can. But I'm mostly just going to be recording the thing, so you guys will hear it as I'm recording it. And let me know if this is something you guys think is cool or something you guys, you know, want to see more of. I'm your favorite vocalist. That's crazy. So thank you. That means a lot, actually. That's awesome. But let me know if you guys want to see more tutorial stuff like this, or just us, you know, doing live streams, and you know, and then maybe we'll do more of them. If you think this is something that's boring and you don't want to sit here and watch me play guitar and record to a song, hello, then, you know, after you guys hear the song, you guys can kind of bounce. And but we did release a cover yesterday, so if you guys didn't get a chance to actually see that cover yesterday, go check that out. We also did a cover, or not a cover, we did a song with our friend Cole Rowland. So if you guys get a chance, go check out his channel. He shaved my beard. No, I look terrible with a shaved beard. But yeah, if you guys didn't get a chance to check out our video we did with Cole Rowland, it's on his channel. It was really fun to do, and yeah. But anyways, so we are gonna do a Throwback Thursday cover pretty soon here of Outkast. Andre 3000's Hey Ya, which should be fun. And I'm basically just going to be here tracking guitars and bass and all that stuff, and you guys can kind of just hear how it sounds before we do it. We always do the song usually in the same tempo, and usually also in the same key, but in this case, for Laura's singing purposes and stuff like that, key-wise it just sounds better if we actually change the key. So the keys, I think, she'll be singing it higher than he does, but it's lower, so it sounds kind of funny. But so I bring in this. Oh, also, let me know right now, if you can, do you want me to turn this up or down or what?
1, 2, 3. My baby don't mess around because she loves me so, and this I know for sure. But does she really wanna, but they stand to see me walk out the door?
Everybody's answer is different. Up, down, distorted, up, down. I'm gonna keep it somewhere around in like right here, so hopefully you guys will be able to hear it. Because I'm going to be throwing guitars over it and other stuff. Talk to see if your voice is higher or lower. I don't know what that means. With that said, I'm going to jump into just playing it. So if I am ignoring you guys, I'm sorry. Like I said, I'm just going to be sitting here actually tracking stuff. So, yeah. So that right there is pretty much the first verse, kind of pre-chorus and chorus. I generally tend to do, oh yeah, is this too loud? Is it not loud enough? Or up, down? Am I going to sing it all? No, not today. I'm just tracking all the music. I'll do a live stream if you guys want of when we actually track Laura's vocals and my vocals. We can do that too. So it'd be fun to do. But sounds fine? Okay, that's good. I'm going with you. So when I track guitars, I usually do 2 guitars and I pan them. And when I pan them, I kind of do one of them as just like a standard power chord, and the other one is usually like a harmony chord, and it gives this cool kind of like stereo effect. So then I would go back in and track that one. So now that I have that, I'll usually go in and just kind of copy and paste these guys because I don't need to have multiples of them. And then to basically start to really see like where the song forms kind of comes when I do a lot of the like overlaid guitars. And one of my favorite things ever is this one of my favorite things ever is this little guitar thing that I use. I call it the crystal guitar. It's got this like how do we choose the covers for our channels? To be honest, it's just whether or not we like the song. So it's like a lot of people like I mean, back in the day, it was a lot about like doing covers that you thought would bring more people to your channel. So you would do like the newest, you know, song that came out. But that's kind of boring, and sometimes you would do covers that you didn't really like or anything like that. So one of the things that we really liked is doing Throwback Thursday covers, was that it allowed us to actually just play stuff that we kind of, you know, were into, whether or not people liked it or not. So it's really mostly just like, do we like the song? If we like the song, then we'll do it. If not, maybe we won't. But yeah, so then I will do like an overlay guitar on the chorus. So that's kind of cool. And a lot of times I'm just really like recording like scratch tracks. I'm not like, some of this I'll keep, some of it I won't. I think of making some tutorials. Yes, actually, that's another thing that we were thinking about doing, was making, like, instead of a live stream, but actually making like an edited. I could show you how I record, you know, top to bottom, like what plugins I use, what things you know, techniques I use for recording and mixing, and what my favorite things are. I don't know, stuff like that. So we thought about doing that, and that's also a real possibility. Maybe we'll do that, you know, at some point in time. I don't know. It's mostly up to, it's hard to gauge whether or not people like this type of stuff, you know? So, some people are really into it, and some people just want to hear our covers, and some people just want to hear originals, and some people want to hear, you know, tutorials and stuff like that. So it's kind of like gauging like what your audience, you know wants. But have you guys heard of Hollywood Undead? Yes, we've heard of Hollywood Undead. Talking about Hollywood Undead. There's a lot of Hollywood Undead. Okay. Something. What, you guys want us to cover a Hollywood Undead song? You guys have a specific song from them that you want us to cover? You love Hollywood Undead, so there's a lot of you guys wanting us to cover Hollywood Undead. That's very funny. I wouldn't have thought that. Gotta Let Go. Okay, I've never heard it, but I will go and check it out. And yeah, I mean, like I said, we choose covers primarily more on whether or not we really like the song. So, have you ever met or collaborated with Our Last Night? Yes, actually. The very first tour that The Animal and Me ever went on was with Our Last Night, and the second tour that we went on was with the Color Morale on Our Last Night. And when we were on that first tour, we met them, we became really good friends with them, and they actually are in our Call Me Maybe video. So if you want to go check that out, our Call Me Maybe video has them in it, because we got stuck in a house with them because it was during Hurricane Sandy. So yeah, somewhere on our wall there's some Our Last Night tour posters and stuff like that. So, do we work on new material? Yes, we work on new material all the time, but it's just like whenever we write like an album or anything like that, we write like 1,000 songs and then scale it down to, you know, 12 or 10 or whatever it is. We're actually thinking about going in a direction of, instead of releasing an album, releasing just singles, making really good songs, and maybe once a month, you know, doing that. I don't know. We're still up in the air about it, but we'll see. Anyway, so now I'm going to go and copy and paste this little guy over here to this other course. And then, what is your opinion on the new songs Shining Down is putting out? Honestly, I have not listened to them, so I currently do not have an opinion. But I could listen to it and find out. Think of doing some Linkin Park covers. Now, Linkin Park is a band that pretty much everybody in our band grew up with. Like, we all love Linkin Park. And we had talked about doing... I think we had talked about doing a Linkin Park cover, but we couldn't decide on which one. I think we all kind of had different ideas on which one would be the best. So I don't know. Do we plan to make a cover of the Korean group BTS? Honestly, with as big as that group is, I mean, I think that the last time they put out some song, it was like the fastest growing song that had ever been put up on YouTube or something like that. It beat out like Gangnam Style by like 100%. There was like 85 million views in a day or something crazy like that. And so from the standpoint of being able to gain more followers, covering them would probably be a good idea. But like I said, when it really comes to it, we just cover whatever it is we like. If they come out with a song that we think is awesome, then sure, maybe we'll consider covering it. But it's like, we don't, like, we used to do the whole, yeah, let's cover this, it's big and everybody's talking about it. And now it's just kind of like, we just cover whatever we think is cool. That's it. So, maybe. Yes, do what makes us happy. That's right. You guys do what you make, makes you happy, and we'll do what makes us happy. Anyway, so now after this, after I get something like this down, I would go in and track like a little bass. Now, Daniel normally tracks bass because he has a much nicer bass than I do, and he's a much better bass player than I. But it's easier for Laura to sing on a song that actually has bass and all the stuff, you know, kind of like a completed mix. So, and she usually sings on the song before Daniel does his part. So I'll go in and I'll track bass. She'll sing on the song. He'll come in. He'll track bass and do a better job than me. And also, this is like the worst bass ever, by the way. Yeah, it's a garbage bass. I will tell Laura you said hi. Okay, so now I will throw a little scratch of bass on this. Well, I'm going to tune it first because apparently my tuning by ear was terrible. Let's see here. Okay, so let's try that again. So, like I said, if this doesn't sound perfect, that's totally fine because it's not going to be the finished thing anyway. So, Daniel will come in and do the finished bass, so I don't really have to worry about if this sounds. It just has to sound good enough. Not good, just good enough. Let's see. Sorry if I'm ignoring questions right now. You play stand-up bass? That's pretty awesome. I recorded a band actually that played stand-up bass a long time ago. And it was very fun to mess around with, but I was no good at it. Okay, so now I pretty much have most of the song done. Not most. First and second, verse and chorus and whatnot. And then sometimes I'll just go back over and I'll listen to what it sounds like with the actual song played over it, which, sometimes just sounds like garbage, but...
1, 2, 3, got my baby, don't mess around. She loves me so, I go for sure.
So yeah, so that's kind of like shows me the direction. That's obviously it will sound different than that, but it's getting there. Somebody said, "What is my favorite song?" I don't know that I can pinpoint a favorite song of mine, but my favorite band of all time is a band called NoFX. I grew up in the early 90s, and they're like early 90s skate punk, so that was kind of my thing. Favorite song? I don't know, probably something by Phil Collins. So, I really like Phil Collins. No Way to Phil Collins or No Way to NoFX? But yeah, I like Phil Collins. Grew up with that. I love Queen. My parents, listened to a lot of Queen back in the day. Listened to a lot of punk rock when I was a kid. Yeah, NoFX, Dropkick Murphys. I listened to a lot of Dropkick Murphys. MXPX, Millencolin. So all that stuff. I was big like Fat Records, early 2000s Warped Tour, that type of stuff. So, but yeah. Anyways, so from there, I would most likely try to figure out the verses. I don't really know that I want the verses to just be straight through like guitars. I might change that up, so I would probably mess around with like some effects or like, I don't know, maybe like some sort of clean tone sound. Do I prefer the cleaner vocals or the it just depends in what it is I'm listening to. Like sometimes I want to listen to really energetic music, and it's like I just love bands like Architects and stuff that are really like heavy, energetic, a lot of screaming, but it just depends on what mood I'm in. Pennywise, yes, I liked Pennywise. What's up, Chris Marshall? How you doing? But yeah, so it just depends on the song. I like singing. Have we heard of Ice Nine Kills? Yes, we have toured with Ice Nine Kills, actually. They're good guys. They were actually on the second tour that we ever did as a band. But yeah, so, like I said, it all depends on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I want like an energetic, really heavy, lots of screaming, stuff. And sometimes I just want mellow, chill, singing. A Real Big Fish cover. That's, I do love Real Big Fish. That's very funny, actually. But yeah, so... yeah. So then from there, I might go with something that's like this. That's a little too reverby. Thank you. I appreciate the people who like the Rap God cover. That cover was a nightmare to record, by the way. I still have no idea why we even did it. It started out as a joke. I made a joke to Daniel and Laura that we should cover something that just seemed impossible. And they're like, oh, we should cover Rap God. And it was just a joke, and then I started one day just kind of messing around with the music, playing around with it. And the music sounded really cool, and I showed it to our manager, and our manager was like, oh, sounds awesome. And then I decided to start doing the screaming, and I spent 8 hours the first day just tracking about a third of the song, and it was a nightmare. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done. I gave up probably like 1,000 times because I was like, this is just pointless. I don't know what the point of doing this is. And I showed it to our manager, and our manager was like, "No, you got to keep going with this because it sounds awesome." And so I did, and then yeah, it was just it was a nightmare though. So how many years did I train before I felt what I was good at? You know what? Actually, this is actually probably a funnier story than anything. So I'll tell this story. So when Laura and I first started kind of like making songs and recording and stuff, essentially, I was terrible at screaming, just awful. Like I can't like tell you how bad I was. It was so bad. If you guys were to ever hear some of the first initial things that we recorded, it was like I would put just a little bit of screaming here and there, and that was mostly just to throw it in. It was terrible. And then I would say at around like, I don't know, maybe after we were a band for about a year, we met Daniel, and Daniel liked our band, and he was like, "Help me, you know, I can help you put together a, you know, a full band." And he did that, and we put together this band. Some of you guys probably remember people like Corey and Phil and Nay who were in the band. That was like the band that we assembled, and we started doing stuff. And I was not good at screaming. And then we had managers that were talking to us, and they were like, "Hey, Shane, you should just scream for the band instead of playing guitar," because I was playing guitar. And I was like, I'm not good at it, though. I was terrible at it. And then we decided we were going to go to Florida and track our first EP, the Instincts EP, with Tom Denny from A Day to Remember. And we were going to spend all this money, and we were flying out to Florida, and the whole time I was just like terrified, because I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not good at this. I'm terrible. And so I was like, great, we're going to go there, and everybody's going to be like, wow, Shane, you're terrible at this. Like, you should stop. And so we flew out to Florida, and I remember the day, you know, we did all the music, and then it came down to tracking vocals. And I remember waking up that morning and just being like, oh, I do not want to do this. And I don't know if I'm just the type of person that is a very, like, when the pressure's on, that's when I achieve the most. Like, I'm up, you know, when push comes to shove, I'm going to get it done one way or the other. And I woke up, and it was just the weirdest thing. I walked in the studio, and Tom Denny was like, hey, you know, start tracking your vocals. And we started, and it just happened. Out of sheer, I don't know if it's sheer fear of just, you know, not like failing or something. I have no idea. So it's very weird because people are always like, oh, you're so good at it. And I'm like, I was really terrible at one time. And it's just, I've done it so much now with all the covers and originals and all that stuff. It's nothing to me now. It's very easy. But there was a time when I was altogether not good, pretty bad. And so yeah, I mean, now I'm so comfortable with it. Yeah, it's like screaming is like, takes me no time. I don't double track screams. I'm very lazy when it comes to this stuff. So I don't go in and like, you know, layer a bunch of like things. Like every now and then I'll throw like a lower scream on or something like that. But for the most part, I go in and I just smash it. Singing is way harder than screaming for me. You know, I'll take like a bunch of takes when it comes to singing, but screaming, unless it's something like Rap God or something that has like a lot of lyrics or is really fast or kind of a rap type thing or whatever, I just do it in one take. And that's not me saying like, oh, look how cool I am. That's literally just, it's very easy for me to do. But at one point in time, I was terrible at it. So, you know, it's just years and years and years of doing it, I suppose, has made me better at it. But I was terrified to go and track that stuff with Tom Denny a long time ago. So, yeah. But, any more questions? The beginning, guitars. I love Tech Nine. And actually, that's the thing, is that people are always asking us to do the West Coast Choppers song. And I'm just like, I know how much time it took me just to do. It took 3 8-hour days nonstop to do Rap God. And I mean, for the people out there that say I'm the scream god and all that stuff, I think it's funny because I'm like, no. See, Eminem is actually legit at what he does. You know, for me, I was reading it, which is 1,000 times more helpful. But also, it was so many takes. So many takes. It was like, normally I can do things really quick, but when it comes to that, it's nope. How often do we play in the Bay Area? Like never, actually. We played Warped Tour in 2017, and we opened up for Secrets in Berkeley this past year also. But, or that was 2018. Yeah, I think. But yeah, I mean, we normally go on tour, and when we go on tour, for some reason, we never get booked in the West Coast. A Yellow Wolf song, yeah, that would be kind of tight, actually. I like Yellow Wolf. But, wait, did you have to practice your screaming singing lessons? No, when are we going bowling? Probably tonight. But no, when it comes to singing, like singing is something that just takes a different type of skill set. You have to sing in key. You don't have to scream in key. I mean, you can scream, you know, higher, lower, all these different things, but you don't have to match the music, you know. It's like screaming is much more like a rhythmic thing than it is anything else. Whereas singing is like, you know, you're trying to actually sing in key. So it's like, you know, to be a good singer takes a good amount of skill. So, but screaming does too. It's just a different skill set, I say. So, when are these arms going to see some ink? Actually, I was just talking about getting my first tattoo, possibly on my shoulder, of my cat, Schmidt. So, we'll see. Maybe soon. I don't know. My mom hates tattoos. Just absolutely hates them. So, that's why I've never gotten any. But you go grab dinner. But yeah, yeah, I just never got tattoos because my mom didn't like them. You know, so. Well, so when it comes to how we decide on whether or not a song actually makes it as a cover, like I have so many covers on my computer that no one's ever heard just because they just weren't coming out right. So it's like sometimes we'd do a cover and we'd be like, oh yeah, we're going to do this cover, it's going to be awesome. And then we would get like all the music done and it just wouldn't sound right, like when we put the vocals on it, or didn't have enough energy, or didn't have enough, you know, whatever. So, how long did you do vocals before you recorded it for the first time? I don't know what that question is for. What kind of synths or soft synths do you use in production? I use a lot of different things. One of my favorite things is that there used to be, there's this thing called Guitar Rig. And I used to have Guitar Rig 2. And Guitar Rig 2 had a patch on it called Genesis. And it was just an awesome patch. It's this like, actually here, I'll open it up and kind of show you guys. But it's one of my favorite things. It's just got this like cool ambient sound. Makes everything kind of echo. And it sounds really awesome when you put, you know, either piano through it or guitar or keyboard or anything. It sounds awesome. But so I use a lot of that. I use Fruity Loops or FL Studio for a lot of stuff. Nick Puccini, oh my good lord. Nick Puccini, that is crazy you're watching this right now. It's so funny. He just asked if we would cover Danger Zone. He's actually in a band. Or he was in a band with me in like 2005 was probably when we did that, and we covered Danger Zone in 2005. That's very funny. How are you doing, Nick? Good to hear from you. Yeah, Danger Zone cover, that'd be dope. But yeah, so I use this patch a lot. Let me see. So it's this. You hear that? So it's just this ambient. So a lot of times I'll take that with something like this, and it has that kind of trails off, you know, sound or whatever. That's really cool. Yeah. And then another one that is my favorite is on Guitar Rig 5. They have this patch called Crystal. And I use this in pretty much almost every one of our songs as like a lead thing, but it's just got this like it's just kind of pitch shifting, and it keeps going up and up and up. And then I throw a Sans amp over that to distort it, and it has this like, that's probably super loud. And I use that a lot. In fact, if you listen to like the Who's Laughing Now album, almost every song ends with that little guitar lick, you know, this little sprinkly guitar. So I use a lot of that. Also, I think someone asked me what type of samples I use for drums. I use a bunch of different samples, but for kick and snare, I use kick, snare, and China. I use Steven Slate drums. I love Steven Slate drums. I think they have probably one of the most like realistic sounding, you know, drum sounds. They've got a lot of like pop to the snare and a lot of yeah, kind of just good sounds for kick drums and stuff like that. It's good for almost any style of music too. So I use that a lot for like everything. But I also use like some you know, tons of different cymbal packs and from tons of different people. There's like Joey Sturgis cymbal packs in there, and I kind of take pieces from a bunch of different things, you know. So it just depends. Some of the stuff is stuff I recorded. I have like in fact, almost all of Who's Laughing Now, most of those samples, which now I listen to it now, I'm like, these sound terrible. But those were mostly recorded by me back in the day, and that's probably why they sound like garbage. But yeah, so now I use a lot of Steven Slate. I know there's a lot of people that use tons of different things, but that one just kind of works for me. So, oh, I've been on here for 40 minutes. But is there any other questions you guys have? I mean, anything. It could be about filming or recording or whatever. You know, I kind of was going to do this to like just kind of track this song, but it's kind of fun answering questions too. So I could open up a project. Anybody want to hear anything that I've recorded in the past, or doesn't matter to me. What's the hardest part of transferring from the studio to playing live? Oh, okay, I'll answer these two. And vocal mic of choice. So I use the SM7B for pretty much everything. I just love the balance it gives to vocals. It's especially good for like screaming. Like screaming, if you're looking for a vocal mic for screaming, the SM7B, the Shure SM7B is the way to go. That's my opinion. That's this guy right here. So, what shoes are you wearing right now? I'm not wearing any shoes. So, but yeah, so SM7B, this is like a really fantastic mic. I also use a condenser mic, a KSM 27, Shure KSM 27, which I really like. So those are my two primary mics. Depends on whether I'm recording clean vocals, harsh vocals, what type of clean vocals, acoustic guitars, things like that. So, yeah. But what was the other question? Oh, what's the hardest part about transferring from recording something to playing it live? The hardest part is finding the best way to change it up, because playing a song live, I feel like should be more energetic than even your like recording. It should be something that like, you know, you're putting your all into. So it's like, you know, when we go on tour, you know, we do a lot of just different things to just change up the actual song. So, and that just comes from playing it a lot over time and everybody in your band kind of like, you know, doing different things, I guess. But yeah, somebody said something about also, no, actually, I know there's a lot of producers out there that layer vocals, like with the clean vocals. I don't do that. It's not like, I mean, we put harmonies and stuff on there, but it's like, and you can get a really cool stereo effect and things like that by layering vocals and stuff like that. But there's just something about it that just doesn't fully appeal to me. Like I can always hear it, and especially pop songs when they start doing it, it gives this like chorusy type feel to it that I just don't really care for. So it sounds thicker, sounds maybe more full, and there are people that do it to where it sounds, you know, if you have a really great singer, you can probably do it and make it sound awesome. But for me, I do a one take and I make sure that one take is perfect, and then over that we do harmonies. And then sometimes for me, when I want to thicken up a chorus especially, instead of double tracking, you know, the vocals, I like to over that add a bunch of like ahs. So here I'll kind of show you in one of our songs what I'm talking about, I guess. But let's see. Okay, so here is Laura's voice. Right. So over that, I'll usually put a harmony, and then I'll put this really ugly sounding flat harmony. It's not even a harmony. It's just the key of the song and just this flat note that sounds disgusting. So I'll have her sing a harmony, high harmony over it, or low harmony, whatever it is, and then I'll put the key of the song, just this flat note that goes. Sounds terrible. But when you put all of them together, now, when I want to actually thicken things up and I want it to sound really full, instead of double tracking any vocals or anything like that, I'll just add ahs, just this. So that's me, just, and then you put it all together, and you got yeah, so some people do the double tracking thing. For me, to make it like really big and full and whatever, I just rather have one really solid vocal, some harmonies on top of that, and then a bunch of like ahs and stuff like that. So yeah, there was probably more questions in there that I totally missed because I was doing this. But any other questions? I'm probably gonna hop off in like 4 minutes. What song is this? This is off our last CD that came out last December. It's called Calling It Quits. Do you think you will do more of these live sessions? Yeah, I mean, if you guys want me to do more live sessions like this, then yeah, I will totally do them. Open my projects, meaning what's my project? Like a solo project or just another song? Or how do I feel about Jared Leto? I like Jared Leto. I think he's got a really, really good voice. A little bit of a weirdo, but you know, he's a good artist. But yeah, if you guys like these, what I was thinking about is doing like, you know, we want to go back to kind of like releasing covers and songs and stuff like on Thursday. And then I just figured maybe on Fridays, the day after, I'll do a live stream, you know, and you guys can just watch, and it will be, you know, me either recording or tracking, or maybe just me doing question and answer. Maybe we'll just do like an acoustic live show for you guys. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, my mixes? Well, so yeah, I want to actually make some tutorials, but I want to make some tutorials where you guys will actually, I'll do little screen captures and you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to make like a full production, not just live stream, but just like a production of where you can see, like, I'll open up projects and show you like, this is how I achieve this sound or this thing. And these are the plugins that I use and the samples that I use, and this is how we tracked these different things. So I'll do that, but I want it to be a little bit more high production, more in-depth type of, you know, thing where you guys can really like actually see what I'm doing. Like this, you can only see me. So I want it to be one of those things where it's like you'll be able to see both and how I'm achieving things and what I'm doing and all that stuff. So I'll cut those together and start making those. So yeah, I'll make some tutorials. I also want to make some like guitar playthroughs, bass playthroughs, and yeah. So we'll do, but live stream wise, I'm thinking about maybe, I don't know, what do you guys think about Fridays as like a day to have live streams? I mean, maybe there's a better day to do that? I don't know. Maybe there's a better time to do it too. I mean, 4 p.m. was just because I was happening to track this, so there might be a better time and place or day to do these types of things. I don't know. What DAW do I use? So for my most of my MIDI stuff, especially drums and a lot of effects and things like that, I use FL Studio. And for tracking guitars, bass, vocals, all that stuff, I use Pro Tools. And then whenever I put together like an album to actually edit the album and where it's going and stuff, I use a program called Samplitude. The only thing I'm using that for is it's like a CD burning software that allows you to kind of like mesh songs into each other and pick where the track is and stuff like that. So those are the 3 primary DAWs that I use. Oh, Fruity Loops is the best. A poll on covers? Yeah, actually, we were thinking about doing that too. Doing some polls. I think YouTube now allows you to, you know, put polls on things or whatever. So we were thinking about doing that in the community message board or whatever it is. Fruity Loops, I started using Fruity Loops in like 2000, I think it was. So I've been using that for longer than like anything. I started using Pro Tools in like 2004, but Fruity Loops back in the day was a program that you could just download for free, and I had version 1 and I made little beats on it and stuff like that all the time, and that was kind of my introduction to recording and mixing. So but yeah, anyways, I've been on this thing for 50 minutes and I don't want to do this anymore, but you guys are awesome and I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. If MXPX or Yellow Card, MXPX all the way, but yes, we'll put together a poll and stuff that you guys can vote on some covers. But anyways, I just want to say thanks for watching this. If you didn't get a chance, go check out the cover that we released yesterday. And we also did a song, an original song, with our buddy Cole Rowland, called Home, and he just released that. So if you didn't see either of those things, go check those out and let us know what you think in the comments. All right, take care, guys.